Okay, hi everyone. My name is Frankie from Prana Fresca Yoga, and this is part two of my little series that I began back in January, I think, Aparigraha and yoga. So, Aparigraha just means non-attachment. So, we're going to think of it in the sense of not being attached to worldly, materialistic things, but also attachment to ourselves and our exterior, how we look, our thoughts, our feelings. So, two things. First up, I'm going to cue some different things with a strap. You don't have to use it, it will just be an added extra step. And if you don't have a strap, you can use a pair of pants or a shirt or something like that to just give you a little bit, a few extra inches to pull yourself forward deeper into the stretch. And the second thing is we're going to start in Shavasana. So I would like for you to take this time to find a comfortable seat space, laying down on your mat. Okay, so don't be afraid to take up space in your Shavasana, allowing your arms and legs to kind of fall off to the sides of the body, maybe even taking up space off of the mat. So this is a great way to start class, whether you've just woken up or you've been kind of getting going for the day. Giving your toes a little wiggle, your fingers a little wiggle, and gently bringing your eyes closed or partly closed if that works better for you. And I want you to just tune into your breath now without trying to change the breath. Notice your inhales, your exhales. And when I say notice your inhales and notice your exhales, I'm looking for you to notice, do they match? Or maybe your inhale's a little bit longer or shorter than your exhale. Maybe there's a raspiness or a wheezing to the breath. Or is it calm and clear? Notice if the breath flows smoothly and evenly in and out of the body. Again, without trying to change anything, just notice here. Checking in with our bodies is so important as we become wrapped up in our everyday tasks, running to class, off to work, hurry to make the dinner, take care of the baby, the mothers, whoever it may be. Always off, taking this moment, this time for yourselves. Maybe setting an intention for yourself for this class. What do you wish to accomplish? Is it just to be? Is it to go a little deeper in your practice? So this idea of self-love, this idea of non-attachment, not being attached to, how do I look? Oh, that thought wasn't something that I want cruising through my mind. There's this saying in Sanskrit, in yoga, samto sadanutama sakulabalaha. And it means by contentment, supreme joy is gained. If we can become content in ourselves and who we are, by letting go of these thoughts, by finding self-love and non-attachment, we can understand the difference between contentment and satisfaction. Contentment means just to be as we are without going too outside for things for our happiness. Letting go of those outside things that we think bring us joy. A new job, a new car, a new pair of clothes. If something comes, we let it come, letting things pass through us, being in that natural ebb and flow of life. If not, it doesn't matter. Contentment means neither to like something nor to dislike it. We just let it be. And now I want us to slowly start to think about altering and changing the breath. I'm going to guide you through something called a box breath or a 4-part breath. And this is a breath that they train with in the military. It will help to calm the nervous system and reduce that fight or flight response. It's a super easy breath that you can remember and take with you anywhere. So think of a box. A box has 4 sides. So we're going to inhale for a count of 4, retain the breath for a count of 4. Exhale for a count of 4, and then again retain the breath for a count of 4, and then start the cycle over again. So still laying in Shavasana, thinking about the points of contact that your body is making with the ground beneath you. Feeling supported by the ground, by Mother Earth. We're approaching new moon energy, as I think we were the last class too. An excellent time for reflection, turning in. So we're going to be doing some restorative yoga this morning. And this beautiful restorative box breath to kind of balance our central nervous system and that fight or flight response that we constantly find ourselves in. Feeling supported by Mother Earth, knowing that she's got us. And in return, we have to think about how we also have her. With your next inhale, I want you to just breathe in fully and then exhale fully. And continue to breathe in fully, thinking about expanding those lungs and taking in more beautiful oxygen, and then exhaling fully and deeply, expelling all of that oxygen from your lungs. Continuing to just breathe in and breathe out a little bit more deeply than we were before when we first noticed the breath, being more intentional. And on your next inhale, breathing in, and then your next exhale, we're emptying the lungs completely. And then we breathe in for a count of 4, 2, 3, 4. Retain, hold the breath for a count of 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, and retain. 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Retain the breath. 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Retain the breath. Inhale. Hold and retain the breath. Exhale. Hold, retain the breath. Inhale. Hold. And exhale. If holding the breath is too much for you, then just inhale to a count of 4. Retain. Inhale. Then you can just focus on inhaling and exhaling to a count of 4 at your own pace. Retain. And exhale. One more round. Retain the breath. Inhale. Hold, retain the breath. Exhale. And find your normal, natural breath. Noticing how you feel right now. Noticing how that breath made you feel. Do you feel calmer? More relaxed? Or did that breath work give you a little bit of anxiety and make you feel a little nervous, which is perfectly fine. But then we need to ask why. And now from Shavasana, I want you to inhale your arms up over your head, letting go of any thoughts that might be in your head about that breath. Taking a nice full body stretch, reaching one arm and then the other, like you're climbing an imaginary rope, or you just woke up this morning and you're still in bed, taking a nice stretch. Nice deep breathing, slow, intentional movements. And then find stillness, let go of the muscles, not tensing anything in the body. Slowly walk the hands and the shoulders over to the left side of the mat, and the feet come over to the left corner of the mat. So you're making a nice crescent moon, C shape with the body. This is called Banana Asana. Both shoulder blades should be on the mat. If they're not, maybe you are taking this pose a little too deeply. Lessen the curvature of the spine, the shape that you're creating. Take nice deep breaths here, filling up the lungs. And then exhaling. Releasing any tension in the hips, the feet. Maybe the feet fall off in opposite directions. Allowing the body to relax into this pose. Allowing yourself to feel this shape in your body. Taking the left hand and grabbing the right wrist. Really stretching that right side body. Our gaze can be upward towards the ceiling, towards the heavens. Or we can turn the neck so that our head is rotated towards the left, looking over that bottom arm. The eyes are opened or gently closed. Just breathing and feeling into this pose. One more breath here. And then as you exhale, come back to center. And maybe just give the hips a little rock slightly. And then take it over to the right side. Release your wrists. Release everything and just allow yourself to feel this pose on the opposite side. Your shoulders and your hips are both evenly planted into the floor. The ground beneath you, feeling Mother Earth support you. Breathing, you feel your chest and belly rise and fall. Your shoulders, your chest, your arms relax into the ground. Your hips and thighs and ankles relax into the ground. You feel this stretch on your opposite side body. Maybe even taking notice about how this side might feel different than the other. Deep breathing. Allowing yourself to take up space. One more breath here. And on your next exhale, slowly bringing it back to center. Torso, arms, legs. And slowly, I want you to roll over to the right side. Allowing yourself a moment before we sit up. Just so we don't come up feeling dizzy or anything like that. Use your hands to slowly push up. And we're going to come to seated position. And here we're going to do a square pose. So just make sure you guys can see me. What square pose is we're going to have our bottom leg. Doesn't matter which leg because we're going to switch sides. Your foot is going to be flexed and down on the ground. And then your opposite leg is going to come up on top. Your foot also flexed, so it kind of resembles a square. If this is painful for you, you can grab a rolled up towel, or if you have a pillow nearby, and just pop it under that top knee, and that will alleviate some stress on the hip and also the knee and the ankle. So we want to find comfort in these poses too. Props are totally welcome. And from here, I want you to feel grounded in your seat. Find a nice, long, tall spine. Hands can just rest on the thighs, wherever they're comfortable. That foot is flexed. We have a nice, long spine extending out through the crown of the head. Find your breath and just hold this pose. Breathing deeply, maybe the eyes come closed or partially closed, whatever feels great for you. This is your practice. You do what feels great for you. Nice deep breathing. Maybe even bringing one hand to the chest, feeling that chest to actively rise and fall. Beautiful. Feeling the strength of your back muscles holding you up, your shoulders. Notice here what you feel working in your body. Notice if you feel this in your hips. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, we're going to slowly come out of this and take it on the other side. So your top leg comes on the bottom, whichever one that was. Foot is flexed. Opposite leg comes on top. Foot is also flexed. If you'd like to take a pillow and prop it under that top knee, not too high, right? But just enough so that it doesn't feel like that top knee is hanging down and causing any discomfort in the hip, the knee, or the ankle. We want to protect our joints. And when you feel comfortable, you can just allow your hand to fall onto your thigh. Maybe taking that left hand, the opposite hand this time, and placing it on your chest. Feeling that breath in the body. Closing the eyes, noticing what's working now. How just changing our legs Switching the positions changes which muscles are more active and passive. Now you feel the right hip or the opposite hip working more. Maybe you feel a slight pull in your back, your body telling you you might need some more core work. Whatever you feel in your body, notice it. It's your body talking to you. Take a nice deep inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to release this pose and we're going to come into a half butterfly. So we can extend both legs and bring our right leg into, or our left leg, into our thigh. So one leg is extended, the opposite leg comes into our thigh. Our extended leg, the foot is flexed. Here is where if you would like to use a band, you can, you don't have to. And what I want you to do is inhale your arms up into the sky and take a deep breath. And as you exhale, we're going to extend over that long leg as deep as we can, as far as we can, and then just kind of let those arms fall and roll it back up, kind of warming up those joints. Inhale those arms again. And then we're going to extend over that leg, bending at the hips, hinging at the hips. Okay? We don't want to go too deep, so find that nice Goldilocks zone for you, right? And then where you feel comfortable, just kind of hang over that leg. Hang over that leg. If you would like to take a strap and pull that leg closer to you, you can. And just kind of hang out here. Feeling that stretch in your hamstring along the back of the leg, the extended leg. Releasing those hips, feeling your seat grounded into the earth beneath you, but feeling that hinge at the hips. Allowing the head to hang heavy. And if at any point this begins to feel uncomfortable, lessen how deep you are in this stretch. That's the beautiful thing about yoga. Everyone can do the same poses at exactly the right amount of tension or whatever it is that works for their body. The modifications are endless. Take a nice deep inhale. And then as you exhale, use that force of the breath to rise yourself up, coming up into seated. And then we're going to switch legs, slowly extending that bent leg. Maybe giving a little point and flex of both legs while we have them long. And then bringing that opposite leg into your thigh. Okay. Then we're going to inhale those arms up. We're going to extend over that long leg and kind of let those arms and head hang, and then drag everything back up to seated, just warming up the hips. Then we inhale again, hinge at the hips, find that Goldilocks zone for you, right? Where is going to be enough bend, enough hinge, enough fold that you feel it, but not so much that it hurts. When you found that spot, you're just going to hang over that leg, let the whole body fall forward. Shoulders, arms, head. And if the leg being straight bothers you, totally bend your knee. Bend your knee and bring the leg closer to you. It's not about how far we can stretch. It's just about doing the stretch. Giving your body these moments that it craves. Stretching and lubricating the joints and the fascia. Nice deep breathing, inhaling and exhaling. Deep inhale, and on your next exhale, use that breath to send yourself back up to sitting. Extend both legs and point and flex the feet. And now we're going to come to do a full butterfly. So we're going to bring those feet together in front of us. All right. So the further away the feet are from the body, the easier it will be. The closer the feet are to the body, the more of a stretch you're going to get in the hip and groin area. So find that Goldilocks zone for you. All right. Sit up nice and straight. Our tailbone is rooted into the ground. Our spine is nice and long and straight, extending out through the crown of the head. We always want to find that beautiful posture in each pose before we take it to the next level. Find that strength in your spine as you sit up nice and tall. Feel the hips opening. And then slowly we can walk our hands towards our feet, folding into our hips. You don't have to go too far to reap any benefits from this pose. When you feel like you have hinged far enough that is comfortable for you, you can just let the shoulders round, the back round, the head hang heavy in the center. I'm just taking some nice, beautiful, deep breaths here. Maybe taking in a nice breath and even sighing it out if that feels good for you. Really allowing yourself to get into your body. Finding that contentment in our bodies. Feel your hips softening as you stay here in this pose for an extended period of time. Slowly use your hands to push yourself back up to sitting. And then we're going to extend one leg and then the other for straddle pose. Feet are flexed. Then we're going to sit up nice and tall. Tailbone is rooted into the ground. Make sure your pelvis isn't rocked forward or backward. We want a nice neutral pelvis. Sits bones are firmly rooted into the ground. Okay, and you can stay here. Just keeping that spine nice and straight. Feeling that nice extension through the crown of the head, relaxing the shoulders down and back, and hands are just rested on our thighs. You can stay here. Or if you would like, you can take the hands down the center and start to walk them away from you. Again, finding that Goldilocks zone where it feels comfortable for you, right? We don't want to go too deep, but we want to go deep enough that we feel something. And when you found that perfect Goldilocks zone for you, you can just round the spine, let the shoulders and head hang heavy. Feet are still flexed. And those legs are nice and long and activated, so you feel the stretch up and down the back of the legs. You feel the hamstrings stretching. You feel the hips and the groin stretching. Taking nice deep breaths. Finding that contentment in the pose. So if you're no longer feeling contempt, maybe you push up a little bit and lessen how deep you are stretched into this pose. And then slowly pushing yourself up to seated position. We're going to take our feet and we're going to swing them around. We're going to do an ankle stretch pose. So this is like the tiniest pose. And if you'd like to grab a sip of water, you can grab a sip of water right now. This pose is something that's going to be a really small movement. You do not want to overdo it because you can hurt yourself. So we're going to come to sit on the tops of our feet, like we're in hero's pose. And we're just a tiny bit, we're going to lean back and just lift one leg at a time. So right now I have my right leg lifted, and that's going to stretch the top of my ankle. But again, it's just something that's so slight. Right? Like even as much as I'm lifting this leg right now, that might be too much for you, right? So just a little bit. As soon as you feel that stretch in the top of the ankle, stay there and hold it. Hold your core nice and tight. Use your arms on either side of you to help prop you up. Maybe you bring those eyes closed or partially closed and just breathe into this stretch and then release it. Set that leg back down on the ground. Feel the stretch release. Take it to the other side. Lift that leg. Feel the stretch on your opposite side. And maybe this pose feels god awful for you, then don't do it. Sit this one out. Take a child's pose. You don't want to do something that doesn't feel right in your body. If it doesn't feel right, your body's like, hey, pay attention to me. Right? And then we usually just pop an aspirin and we're like, oh, see you later, pain. But no, your body's talking to you. Listen to it. And then come back down out of this, right? That's it for our ankle stretch. Now we're going to do a toe stretch. So here we're going to come up onto all fours and we're just going to let those toes curl underneath us, okay? And we're going to sit back, right? And maybe this is as far as you go, right? Pressing all 10 of those toes into the ground. So start at your little pinky toe maybe. Feel it pressed into the ground. This is going to stretch that whole underneath of your foot, right? There's plenty of beautiful fascia, oh my gosh, that start all the way at the little toes and run the whole length of the foot, up the back of the leg. Fascia everywhere, right? So start at that pinky toe and feel all 10 of your toes. Work them. Make sure they're pressing down into the ground, that you're getting that maximum stretch, right? Maybe you can sit all the way up on your toes if that feels okay for you. Play with it. Take a nice deep breath in. Nice strong breathing. Don't lose the breath. Beautiful. Come out of this. And maybe just give your toes a curl and then stretch them. Curl and stretch. Finding space in between those toes and really stretching them out after a little toe stretch there. And from here, we're going to come up onto the balls of the bottom of our feet. Our feet are wide. We're going to come into Malasana. If this does not feel okay for you, you can start with standing, right? Those feet are hips distance wide and our toes are slightly turned out, and then you can sit down into your Malasana. Your elbows come to the inside of your thighs and maybe you use them to press those thighs open if that feels okay for you. right? Maybe like doing a little walk side to side, finding a comfortable space for your body to rest in, this beautiful pose, Malasana, yogi squat. Right, hands are together in prayer pose, pressing together in opposition. If you have a hard time getting your ankles down on the ground, that means you have really tight hamstrings, right? So a lot of people are up like this. That's okay, right? We need to tighten up those hamstrings. All right, and from here, we're going to come into downward facing dog. So release, come onto all fours. All right, and maybe walk those hands out just a little bit further than they would be in traditional tabletop, right? So you want to make sure that your elbows and wrists are in a line with one another. You want to make sure that your knees and your hips are in a line with one another. Okay, we're going to tuck those toes and those hands come out just a little bit. And then we press up and back into our downward facing dog. So this is like making a V, an upside down V pose with the body, pressing those hips back. You can bend the knees if that feels good for you. The heels do not have to touch. And I just want us to take a few breaths here. Inhale deeply and exhaling deeply. Inhaling and exhaling. 2 more breaths here. Exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then slowly walk the feet to meet the hands at the front of the mat. Feet are about hips distance apart. Okay, this is gorilla pose. So we're reaching for those feet. If you cannot reach your feet, that's okay. Just allow yourself to hang heavy, allowing gravity to pull you down. If you can reach your toes, feel free to grab onto them, kind of like a gorilla. Those knees can certainly be bent. We're just going to hang out here, breathing. Feeling those hips release, those thighs, the knees. Allow everything to soften. Allow the head to hang heavy, releasing the neck. Beautiful. And then slowly rolling all the way up to standing. Standing here in mountain pose. Your hands are on either side of the body, palms facing forward. And just allow the eyes to close here. Maybe you pick up the toes and feel 4 corners of your feet making contact with the ground beneath you. The ball of your foot, the top ball pad, that meaty part of your foot, the inner and outer corner, and then the heel of your foot, the inner and outer corners. And then when you feel all 4 of those points on your foot making contact with the ground beneath you, lower those toes. Allow those toes to help balance you. If there's a sway to your stance here, see if you can be a little bit more steady. If your breathing feels labored or uneven, see if you can calm it, steady it. Relax the shoulders, the hips. It's Soften the thighs and the knees, the belly. Allow yourself to be here, just standing in this strong mountain pose. Inhaling those arms up on our next breath, reaching for the sky above us. And then as we exhale, we swan dive forward, reaching for the ground beneath us. And then slowly roll up to standing. We're gonna do that one more time. Inhaling the arms up overhead, reaching for the sky above us. And then as we exhale, swan dive forward, feeling that stretch in your back and your hips. On your next inhale, bring those hands up to your shin, coming into a nice flat back. And then exhale, release back down. Inhale again, bringing those hands up the shins, coming into a nice flat back. Your gaze is at the ground in front of you. You want to keep your whole back straight from the crown of your head, through your spine, all the way to your hips. Take a nice deep breath in, and then relax. Fall back into your forward fold. Plant the hands down on the ground, and we're going to step back into a plank and then come down, back down onto our mats on our bellies. Okay, from here, we're going to extend those arms long in front of us and slowly drag the arms back. This is Sphinx pose. So you want those hands in front of you. This lifts the belly up off the ground. Our chest is nice and open. Our muscles in our lower back and our core are nice and strong. Our gaze is forward, pressing the tops of the feet into the ground. Those thighs and legs are active. Find your breath. This beautiful Sphinx pose is a nice chest opener, opening up our heart chakras. That self-love that we talk about. We can't be too attached to material things on the outward if we want to love ourselves on the inside. Find contentment and peace with who we are from the inside out. Opening up our hearts to endless self-love. We're going to think about coming out of this pose. And slowly we're going to release our arms, bend our elbow, and bring our hands in front of us like this. Kind of one on top of the other layer, making a little pillow for our heads, our forehead resting on the backs of our hands. Our body's long, our feet are long. Just allowing the body to rest here, feeling supported by the earth. Connect to your breath, your breathing. We began class in Shavasana, face up. And here we end up in a similar pose, face down. Opposites, yin and yang. always pulling at each other, hopefully working in tandem together in our lives. When those opposites are allowed to flow, we live in that nice Goldilocks zone, allowing ourselves to ebb and flow through life, not resisting to any obstacles that come our way, but allowing them to flow through us. Breathing, we notice how the body feels right now as we allow it to melt into the ground, to feel supported by our beautiful and loving Mother Earth. As we enter this spring equinox, we come into a period of growth and renewal. And so we allow our souls to also grow and feel renewed with this spring energy. And coincidentally and perfectly in divine timing, also, we have a new moon, allowing us to rest, reflect, grow. On this voyage of the soul, may we be bridge builders, our common ground visible beneath the surface differences. May we braid the threads of reconciliation into a chain of possibility that joins, heals, and includes what once seemed separate. May our shared prayer be answered, to grow so open that there is no them or us, only the one, moving always into love. And from here, I want you to rock those hips gently, side to side, just bringing a little bit of movement back into the body. And then slowly find stillness as we roll to one side and slowly allow ourselves to be propped back up. Meeting in a seated position, easy seat or Sukhasana. One little tip I always like to give, I like to prop myself up. So usually I'll take some folded blankets, which I don't have nearby, or you can take just the end of a pillow right here. If you have any hip problems or it hurts you to sit, and I just like to put just a tiny little bit under my bum, and it just helps me to kind of sit upright so I don't feel like I'm seated forward. You'll feel more supported. So that's something I always like to give people the option or let them know. Not everybody knows that little trick. It feels nice. So anyway, I want us to inhale our arms up and overhead. Exhale the hands down to prayer. Inhale, reach the hands forward and around, reaching to earth, scooping up its love, beauty. The arms come back up overhead. Prayer comes down to heart center. One more time, swooping those arms up towards the ceiling, around. The arms come back up and center. And exhale down to heart center, keeping your hands here in prayer. Gently bowing the head down. And recalling that intention that you set for yourself in the beginning of class. Just calling your awareness to it. Noticing it. Say, if it was something that you wanted to achieve this class, letting go, being more present, I hope that you feel that you accomplished it. If it's something that you set for yourself for the day or the week, I hope that you accomplish it and more. Take a moment to thank yourself for showing up on the mat, whether it was here live in class or you caught the recording. You made it, you did it. And for that, you should say thank you to yourself for showing yourself that self-love. May you find joy, may you find contentment wherever you go today and on the rest of your journey this week. Thank you for joining me, Frankie, for this beautiful class of Parigrahas, which is non-attachment and self-love. I appreciate you. The light in me honors and sees that same light that resides in each of you and every living thing on this earth. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I
Thank
hope you're
you.
feeling well.